recognize myself again to ask a dear friend, de facto mentor, and former chairman, Mr. Womack, a quick question. But I wanted to just highlight one thing. Folks, we have something good going on here right now. We've got one of the senior members of our side on the Republican side saying we don't need this. We have members from the Democrat side saying we do need this. This is good. This is healthy. And I think the point of a catalyst, because we've watched it play out, we are in a different situation than we were in '83. We are in a different situation. And the question, Mr. Womack, two questions. Mandatory spending now is representing over 70% of our budget. That wasn't the case 20, 30, 40 years ago. It's a fundamentally different scenario that we're in now. This is not post-World War II when we could just reduce defense spending and all of a sudden get our debt to GDP back on track. So just share some context with the change in where we are now. And then a question that I did not have prepared for you. I was going to talk about interest rates and stuff, but we've kind of covered that. Give me your sense for where the Republican conference is on this right now. I've seen a lot of discussions on a potential of a debt commission, knowing it's not going to be, a perfect, pristine bill that's going to be tough for everybody. Like, give me your sense. Do you feel something similar? Do you think that there's an urgency and a willingness to engage in this? And I'll defer to you.
Thanks for the question. Willie Sutton, the famous bank robber, when asked why he robbed banks, said, because that's where the money is. And we, as I said in my opening, we spend an enormous amount of time and spend a lot of political capital talking about the discretionary budget. Chairman presiding, Mr. Moore, you are correct. If you go back to 1965, discretionary spending was clearly the largest piece of the federal budget. 65-ish%, give or take. And then now here in 2023, it's completely flipped. It's 70+% on mandatory. So that should illustrate to everyone that has just basic fifth grade arithmetic that if you're going to fix a $2 trillion deficit, and indeed quit digging this hole deeper, you can't do it on discretionary spending. You can barely scratch the surface. The discretionary budget that we are debating right now is in that $1.5 trillion range, and we know that the deficit this year is going to be upwards of $2 trillion. We know that net interest on the debt is going to be north of $650 billion.
Greetings, friends. There was a new update for all Social Security recipients. Officials say there is a new cutoff for earnings, and this could affect millions of Americans' finances starting next year. The SSA has announced at least 4 major changes that retirees should plan for. My dear friends, please do me a big favor and watch until the end of this video to learn more about this. Also, to say thank you for being part of this community. Every Friday, I will be announcing several winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you would like to enter these weekly giveaway, friends, all you have to do is click and like several of my videos, and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, friends, the greater your chances of winning the giveaways. More than 71 million Americans depend on Social Security benefit programs, so annual changes to the program and its payouts are always highly anticipated. While this year's cost of living adjustment is down substantially from last year's 8.7% increase, which was the biggest boost in over 40 years, any extra income is welcome news for beneficiaries who are on fixed incomes. Just because you collect Social Security benefits does not mean you have to stop working. In fact, plenty of Social Security recipients still earn income from work. But for many, their benefits are reduced depending on their age and how much they earn. As previously reported by Go Banking Rates, the SSA considers you retired when you start receiving retirement benefits. If you are younger than the full retirement age and earn more than the SSA's yearly earnings limit, your benefits may be reduced. The full retirement age is either 66 or 67 years old, depending on if you were born before or after 1960. The SSA occasionally puts in new earnings test limits regarding work income. For 2023, the maximum earnings subject to Social Security taxes was $160,200. That is, workers paying into the system are taxed on wages up to this amount, typically at the 6.2% rate. In 2024, the maximum earnings will increase to $168,600, which means more of a worker's income will be subject to the tax. This adjustment is due to an increase in the average wages in the United States. And as expected, the maximum Social Security benefit for a worker retiring at full retirement age will also increase in 2024 from $3,627 to $3,822. And it's important to note that this maximum applies to those retiring at the full retirement age, which is 67 for anyone born after 1960. The stalemate in the House is forcing the Senate to pick up the legislative slack and take the lead on spending. That includes keeping the government funded. Senate Republican Thom Tillis told reporters this week, "It's just so difficult to read how the gears start running again in the House. We just can't sit and wait." House Republicans are entering their third week without a speaker at a crucial point in the year. There is less than 1 month before the next government shutdown deadline, with the House having effectively stalled 3 weeks of the stopgap bill that ultimately led to Representative Kevin McCarthy losing the speakership earlier this month. This leaves lawmakers with a time crunch as they hope to get the work done before Thanksgiving, without much help from across the Capitol complex, where funding legislation normally originates. Until the House gets back up and running, it's the upper chamber that will be leading those supplemental discussions. GOP Representative Steve Womack told reporters last week, "This place needs to be open. This chamber here needs to be active. We have the clock ticking on a continuing resolution. We need to be able to get back to our work. This place needs to be operational." A group of leading Senate Republicans huddled in Senator John Thune's office on Thursday as they attempt to close the gap on key issues in order to win support from conservatives in the House. The Senate also struggled to restart its own government funding effort. The initial package of 3 spending bills, known as a minibus, struggled throughout last week to strike a deal on an amendment package to help move it along. Senator Susan Collins, the top GOP on the Senate Appropriations Committee, told reporters that she is hopeful that lawmakers will resume consideration of the first minibus next week. The struggle to move the Senate spending bills along is creating great concern that it could back Congress into a corner and force members to pass an omnibus before the end of the year. So, dear friends, what are your thoughts on the current state of our federal government and who should be elected as Speaker of the House? Please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments section below. Well, my greatest and amazing friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for today. My dear friends, thank you very much for being part of this community. To say thank you, my friends, I will be announcing winners every Friday for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you would like to enter these weekly giveaway, friends, all you have to do is click and like several of my videos, and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, friends, the greater your chances of winning these giveaways. Thank you, and have a wonderful and very blessed week.